Here we go with a Mossy Oak Properties Fundamental 5. This is the second property that I'm going to break down. It's a listing that Mossy Oak Properties has. You can call Jeff to find out more about this, but I'm going to break this property down just a little bit. I started out with a backed out view, and we are here in western Indiana, pretty much just across the border from Illinois. And I always like to look at things from a 10,000 foot view, if you will, and look at all the cover in and around this farm. This is 93 acres, so it's not a massively large piece of ground, so you want to make sure that there are some fundamental things about this property in place. One of the things that I like when I look at a small piece of property is to make sure that there's good cover in and around the area so that you feel like you've got a fairly good white-tailed deer population in and around the area. With cover and food comes a higher population or a higher density generally. So let's zoom in just a little bit more. We are in Vermilion County, Indiana. And the first thing I would do would be to check the harvest records for that county, check for Boone and Crockett's or Pope and Young's to try and get an idea of how many good deer have been killed in that county, or possibly call the local game warden. Generally, they are a wealth of information in terms of what type of population you can expect, what type of deer density you can expect. As you zoom in on this property, the next thing I do once I go beyond 10,000 feet, I like to look at it with the aerial and topo hybrid, and then also just the topo. And the first thing that I note is that there are a few creeks running through the property. So there's probably some water there year round, which really does help. But one thing I would ask the agent is, are these wet weather creeks or do they run year round? That's very important. The terrain looks quite steep, which if you took this 93 acres and flattened it out, you're probably dealing with a few hundred acres, as steep as these look. So I'd want to walk this property and find out how the wind was up high and how it was down low. Sometimes those benches on those steep side hills can be a little bit challenging. I like how much cover there is with this property. I also like this power line running from northwest to southeast, because oftentimes, if allowed in the state, you can go in and put some hidey holes in and along that power line and hunt those. Access could be a little challenging over to that power line, so I'd want to check with perhaps this landowner down here to see if by chance I could come in through them, or perhaps this landowner. Would they offer a lease or would they offer you permission to get to that northwest corner and get better access? I love the access up here off of County Road 500, which would be Noble Nailers Road, because this all leads into a CRP field. If this is brome grass, you can expect it to be about that high. If, however, you could take out that brome grass and take it to a CP2 planting, which is all warm season grasses, suddenly then you've got free access across that CRP field into your timbers and onto those ridges back in there further. I think it could probably use a water hole or two based on everything that I'm looking at. I do like how many south faces you see. Those steep hills where those lines are going east-west or northeast to southwest, then you know that that ridge is falling off and you're gonna have a lot of south face. I always look for south-facing hillsides whenever I look at a property, because more often than not, that's gonna be your thickest cover and it's gonna offer you the best bedroom for those deer. Overall, for 93 acres, I think it lays out well. If you could gain access from the south some way to go along with that great access from the north, it would probably help it. But overall, I like the cover. I especially like the area. If you look really close, one of the major highways or one of the major interstates for white-tailed deer are rivers. And I always look at any river and I look at my tools and I go, all right, let's see just how far we are from the Vermilion River. Look at that, you're right at a mile. Okay, that is close enough to gain new traffic going up and down the river. So I like the fact that you're that close to a major river. So there's really not a lot to not like about this particular property. I would say go walk it, go look at it, give Jeff a call and see if he can give you a closer look, because this one's a gem in my opinion. I really like how much cover there is. For 93 acres, you've got just enough for food plots and you've got a lot of bedding. Bedding generally wins out over food because you want daylight activity. The more cover you have, the more daylight activity you're gonna have, but it's worth a look.
We're adding new videos every week, so make sure to click that subscribe button and check out all of our amazing content. This segment of DoD TV was brought to you by Ram Trucks. Guts Glory Ram.